Hey guys, this is Patrick playing Stanley Parable. I've heard this is a really weird game. I've actually played the first like 2 minutes of the game just because I was gonna record, but then I forgot to, and it's a long story. It was pretty trippy so far, so we'll see how that goes.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it solely as though he had been made exactly for this job, and Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Fuck the police, not going to the meeting room. 20! Lazy, I'm gonna, Fuck the police, not going to no meeting room. For 30, 10 more. Look at that beautiful view we have here. I didn't think this game was gonna have so much scenery. Look at that though. That nature though. 422. 422. 422 is 422. Scenery. That one doesn't fit the
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Fuck the police?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
That's clean. See, this is the difference between a good work ethic and a bad one. Bad work ethic, good work ethic. Or organization, whichever one falls in line with that. What the paper say? No. Well, let me go inside. There's a lot of hobbies in here. Look, more scenery. What does that board say? I really want to know. Yeah, I think I get to go around there.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
These lights are weird. There's two off right here. Put badasses. That's weird. I've never seen a light by that. It's like, hey, whatever, fuck the police. I'm gonna go the not scary way.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
An
ago.
architect. Let's tech some hard. I would make a chemistry pun, but all the good ones are gone.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on... But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
No idea you can die. The end is never the end. What? Wait, what the fuck? Oh, I start all over.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers. He never functioned well by himself and constantly needed support and guidance from others, so the thought of total solitude was terrifying to him.
The fuck? I'm trying to close before I even got through. Fuck you, door. Oh, goddamn physics though. 43, so it's 400.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, I want to go back to the cool room. Fuck. Looks like I should go back to the scenery. It's okay, guys. Let's count how many times we see this one painting. There'll be a little counter up in the upper left-hand corner of how many times you see that exact painting. There's one. I like this painting.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What is hot? Target demographic teenagers. What is hot? Profits. That one's spelled wrong. It's profaheats. Graphs about things and money. We have our new product.